Good afternoon. Today, as always, very interesting information. Since the infection started sickening individuals in China in 2019, there have been a huge number of recorded passings. And a portion of those individuals who kicked the bucket have been famous people, entertainers, government officials, and the like. While each demise is a catastrophe, these 10 introduced in no specific request, are striking individuals for what they gave society during their lifetimes, and like such a significant number of others, they will be remembered fondly. 1. For most superstars, their notoriety is set up during their lifetime, yet for a few, that differentiation is just allowed after death. That is absolutely valid for Dr. Li Wenliang, a Chinese ophthalmologist who worked at Wuhan Central Hospital in China. In December 2019, Wenliang started cautioning his associates about a potential flare-up of an infection that took after SARS. That ailment was later named COVID-19, making Dr. Wenliang the main doctor to raise the ready that the ailment was going to cause problems. Dr. Wenliang basically turned into an informant where the infection was concerned, and he paid for it. On January 3, he was reproved by the Wuhan police for offering bogus remarks on the internet. He returned to work and later gotten the infection from a patient. Dr. Wenliang died on February 7 at 33 years old. He was after death absolved and offered a serious statement of regret for the caution he got by the Communist Party of China. On the off chance that solitary his associates had tuned into him, there likely wouldn't have been any names to put on this rundown. 2. Daniel Azoulay was a comic book craftsman and teacher who was notable and regarded all through Brazil. His work was exceptionally respected in the workmanship network, and he is most likely most popular for his youngsters' arrangement, Turma do Lam Lam. Azoulay was conceived in Rio de Janeiro and brought up in Ipanema, an area situated in the southern pieces of the city. At 21 years old, he made a paper strip called Capitão Capô, and only 5 years after the fact, he propelled Turma accomplish Lam Lam. His work assisted with instructing the youngsters experiencing childhood during the 1980s about biology, craftsmanship, structure, and numerous different subjects. He ventured to every part of the globe, showing his work and giving talks. He directed craftsmanship workshops with a large number of youngsters and grown-ups. And in 2009, he facilitated an attracting class online to help considerably more individuals gain proficiency with his art. Azoulay kicked the bucket in his old neighborhood of Rio de Janeiro at 72 years old. He was hospitalized for about 14 days for leukemia treatment, and keeping in mind that he was contaminated with COVID-19, which caused difficulties taking his life. 3. Italy is one of the hardest hit countries where COVID-19 is concerned, and it appears no one is sheltered from contamination. Lucia Bose was a conspicuous on-screen character in her local Italy, where she rose to distinction during the time of Italian neorealism, which commenced during the 1950s. She initially worked in a pastry shop, yet in 1947, she won the second release of the Miss Italia Magnificence Challenge, which propelled her vocation as an on-screen character. She featured in a few champion jobs through the mid-1950s. Topping in 1955, preceding arriving at an end, she became hopelessly enamored with a Spanish matador during the shooting of Muerte de un Ciclista. She picked to surrender her profession to raise a family. In the end, she came back to acting and featured various jobs, with her latest work was in 2007. She is the mother of celebrated Spanish artist Miguel Bosé and was an all-around regarded entertainer for a mind-blowing duration. On March 23, she died from pneumonia muddled by a COVID-19 disease. She was 89 at the hour of her passing. 4. Emmanuel Njoku Manu Dibango was a Cameroonian performer who was notable in the realm of jazz, as he was an unmistakable lyricist and saxophonist. Dibango's vocation spread over 6 decades, comprising of various hits. However, he is likely most popular for his 1972 single, Soul Makossa. That hit would later be examined by Michael Jackson, Kanye West, and a lot increasingly conspicuous performers all around the globe. Dibango's vocation started at 15 years old after he moved to Paris soon after World War II. He played saxophone and piano and immediately turned into an ordinary in the European jazz circuit. He turned into a global sensation with Soul Makossa, which was initially intended to be a B-side to a song of devotion he wrote in festivity of Cameroon's achievement in facilitating the 1972 Africa Cup of Nations football competition. Updates on Dibango's sickness went ahead his Facebook page, which noted he was hospitalized with the disease from COVID-19 on March 18. His Facebook page affirmed the next week that he died on March 24 from the infection at 86 years old. 5. People may not quickly perceive the name Nashom Wooden, yet it's not on the ground that he wasn't well known. It's because of individuals being increasingly acquainted with his drag sovereign persona, Mona Foot. Wooden built up his drag persona in the late 1980s, and he acknowledged RuPaul as an early coach in his initial drag vocation. RuPaul helped him hugely by showing him how to apply cosmetics, which helped him land a job as Mona Foot in an off-Broadway creation called My Pet Homo. Strikingly, he thought of the persona while functioning as a director in a Manhattan men's garments office at Patricia Field's boutique. Wooden later showed up as Mona Foot in the movie Flawless, where he additionally played out the tune of a similar name with the Ones. Wooden eliminated his Mona Foot character in his later life, and keeping in mind that he tested positive for HIV, he had an imperceptible viral burden. That contamination didn't have all the earmarks of being the reason for his passing, as he kicked the bucket because of difficulties from COVID-19 in New York City on March 23. He was 50 at the hour of his passing. Subscribe to the channel and click on the bell. See you soon, and don't be sick.